The Smite Console League will be represented by two separate yet equally important people. I'm sorry. Terra versus CAZ are the teams that make it into the Smite Console League. And that's exactly who we're going to see play in a moment. The top of the crop as far as relegations are concerned, bringing it to each other to figure out seeding.
And both of these teams really just trying to make sure they find their way back into the SCL. That's really the key factor here. And Area Eternity are already looking pretty good to do so.
As we said, these are the ones that found their way into the Pro League, but how did they do so? That's what we spent our Saturday trying to figure out. Chan, Izun Chan, if you will, find themselves with 2 losses, as do Null and Void. I think Null and Void had a couple of opportunities to really kind of come out and impress some people, and at some moments they did, but unfortunately find themselves with 2 losses. So it'll be the other team's CAZ, and as I said, Era Eternity that find their way into the Pro League.
Yeah, I kind of just slipped my mind for a second there that it was already pretty clean cut and sold between these two teams. And Area Eternity, I mean, they've had a pretty strong showing all along. So now that these two teams finally get the chance to go against each other as opposed to the challenger teams, I think that'll be really the establishing point to see where these guys are stepping it up at.
Picks and bans. Let's get right to it and see which team is the top. As we look at it, Era with the first pick and the first ban. CAZ sitting on the right side of your spectator UI. We'll see which one comes out, and it'll be the Robin ban right away from Era.
Gotta respect the Robin ban. He's been running absolutely rampant every single time he's been available, pretty much. Even if he's not necessarily on the favoring winning end, he still just deals so much damage. Neither of these teams wants to have to worry about it.
It's not even about the damage for me. It's about the damage reduction that he receives. 40% when he's able to dive a tower and root you and heal and wait and slow, and it just becomes so problematic for teams trying to deal with that later on. The Odin, however, also a large amount of control, so the All-Father will be banned out by CAZ. Second ban coming out from Era will be a Freya.
I'm kind of just waiting for the Scotty ban, knowing that Area Eternity will have the first pick selection. CAZ has the opportunity here to take away such a favorite hunter pick, and
there it is.
There it is, no questions asked. Scotty will not be allowed into this final match.
Yeah, I mean, look at what Era's been able to do so far. They've been very strong, but the Geb coming out, not the first time they first picked this Geb. They really like this Guardian.
They are absolutely in love with Geb, and I mean, for good reason. He has a little bit of a punishable early game, but if you make it through that awkward phase, Geb just becomes such a nuisance trying to deal with that shield cleanse and just the health that it provides.
Yeah. Ton of health, but I think you hit the nail on the head with that cleanse mention. Very strong. Bellona's going to provide a stun. Geb can take that away for whoever's locked in it. Sun Wukong's going to find a stun. Again, Geb can take that away for whoever's locked in it. Sun Wukong, a little bit more strong than Bellona. I think we see a jungle Wukong, and I'm very excited about it.
I would like to see the jungle Wukong just because it's a little bit different. I mean, we're used to seeing the warrior jungles. That Erlang Shen, don't hold your breath on that going towards the solo lane for Era. I mean, they've been having a lot of fun toying around with this Erlang in the jungle, and whether or not they're going to keep that going strong, it's so to say. But the Kern, I love this Cernunnos pickup for that duo lane because he's got a strong enough lane clear to compensate for that Geb's weak early.
Right, and his ability to sort of maintain presence in the mid game is very, very important, especially when you're going up against the Hell, who's a character you have to beat every step of the way. Last game we saw Thanatos. If you beat him early, you can kind of get away with sort of ignoring him later on in the game. When it comes down to the Hell, you have to beat her early, mid, and late to really find her stuck in the ground where you want her. So tough stuff as Era are going up against that healer, but the Soul banned out.
And I can appreciate a Soul ban. I love the Artemis choice. Taking that away. Artemis has been such a favorite pick for EU SCL so far, and largely due to the fact that she just has, I mean, she's got the RNG passive. Her crit passive is really what sells her for this current meta. Even though she doesn't have the greatest escape in the world, you don't need escape when you have the frontline impeel that a Bellona, Sun Wukong, and even the Hell can provide.
The Osiris is a character that loves to go up against both Bellona and Sun Wukong here in the solo lane, whichever one finds their way into that lane, so you take that pick away, making the solo laner kind of think twice. And then over here you have the Jingwei banned out as well, so CAZ have to really dig deep for a hunter. Terra will be their guardian of choice.
And I'm loving this Guardian selection. I wouldn't mind seeing a potential Nemesis from Area Eternity. I'm not sure on the likelihood of it, but knowing how tanky CAZ's lineup already is and Nemesis still being an option, it won't be the selection though. Area Eternity going to take their chances with Camazotz instead. can't really knock that. I actually really enjoy a Camazotz, especially because of the fact he can rush a brawlers and he can dive that hell.
Right, and you can dive the hell, and you can also apply the brawlers from a distance by way of his abilities, so that's definitely a good pick. Ram will be the hunter of choice for CAZ as we get into game here. Some things to think about. CAZ Esports' roster, very, very tanky, especially when you think about how hell is almost undoubtedly going to be itemizing into that Lotus Crown, giving everybody even more protections over the top. This is going to be a very difficult team to really puncture through and actually deal damage to.
Well, not to mention that Area Eternity, while they have a fairly nice draft, I don't think that it's as evenly balanced throughout every single stage of the game as CAZ is.
Sure.
CAZ has so much early game presence between the Wukong, the Bellona, even Hell has excellent lane clear. Same could be said for the Ram and the Terra. It doesn't matter with that Astral Arrow getting a slight damage nerf to it. Ram still has excellent lane clear paired with such an aggressive support laner. So it's just going to be really difficult. I think Area Eternity, their comp requires just so much execution that positioning is going to be absolutely vital for getting this up off the ground.
Again, we're seeing the super proxy come out from CAZ. We saw this earlier in the game where they go way deep to take out the enemy lane, but also see the same thing from the guys on Area Eternity, taking out the wave all the way back here. Now, what this allows teams to do is look for a nice invade. But, I mean, this is kind of a watch. Everybody gets each other's buffs. I feel like this is the beginning of Season 3 all over again.
Everybody just kind of taking their chances. Although, I would probably favor that for CAZ, simply because they're going to have a lot more opportunity later on the first buff respawn to have that same invade potential. I'm not sure I can really say the same for a Camazotz or Erlang. Although, that's still great lane clear.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it looks like CAZ is going to come up on top for two reasons. Left harpies and fire giant gremlins. Area Eternity was able to get the blue and the speed just like CAZ, but CAZ were able to get the neutrals as well. So that puts them 100 gold up, but Malo could be in trouble. Big knockup, and that's going to protect him from the early damage out of overpowered USB.
Don't think Maloaise was really expecting to tank as much damage as he did there, but that's kind of one of the positives of Erlang Shen. Those in-hands really start adding up, especially if he goes into the mink form of the Zone 2 transformations.
Trouble here one more time as overpowered USB jumps forward, but he doesn't really get punished for it. If CAZ turn on him, he can kind of just drop there, but...
The lane clear.
Yeah.
Lane clear was in their favor. Overpowered had already established the lane pressure by forcing out those archers, so he didn't have to worry about that. Plus, a little bit of sustain off of the Camazotz's third ability, so when he jumps in, even though it looks like a silly idea...
He gets the heal.
Exactly.
So, much ado about nothing. Still a fight over here on the right-hand side as level 4 is hit by mostly everybody. Nice stun coming out from Malo. And they're going to turn their sights onto the Erlang Shen. Malo gets slowed down and now slowing overpowered USB. Big important shell coming out from the solo laner. WAP could do it, and it will. Turtle. First blood for CAZ.
Rogue actually in a little bit of trouble here. Everything's not over yet. Still, slight shell coming through. It's enough to buy him the time. Plus that sprint from TylrrK definitely gets him out of danger. But already losing your Camazotz jungler, that's a pretty rough one and an excellent pickup for CAZ.
Terra ultimate used there as well by Switch, if I'm not mistaken. So, no, only level 4 on the Terra. I heard that noise.
It was the sprint from the Geb. It's a little
no, that noise.
Oh, that's the Erlang.
Yeah. I thought that noise was the Terra ultimate.
Not quite yet, but I mean, pretty soon you can definitely expect that Terra ultimate to kind of just be popped off cooldown for the most part. I certainly anticipate CAZ looking for every opportunity to try and abuse their advantage from that global.
Nice little knockup from Geb, but that's all it'll be. A little knockup. The rest of the team will go ahead and slink back into the jungle as respawn on the jungle camps are coming. So Area Eternity will keep an eye out for their own speed.
And just want to keep an eye out for that dual lane. The Ram actually in a little bit of a less favorable matchup against the Current. Current in the laning phase has a little bit more pressure against the Ram because of the fact that the Ram can't avoid the Current's second ability. Even if you try and get your roll off, you have to do it super in advance prior to the Current launching that second ability. Otherwise, you still get hit from the initial tick of damage.
And that starts to add up. I mean, really what Lyzurrr can do, especially in the mid game, he's going to outpower Atonement. The early game kind of, the very first wave goes to the Rom, and then the early game kind of even still goes to the Rom depending on how you play it. But then once you start getting into the mid game, that's all Cernunnos' territory, is it not?
I would definitely probably favor the Kern up to the mid game, but once it starts reaching more into that mid to late, probably favoring the Rom for sure, just because that attack speed steroid just comes up so massive a lot of times, and having that additional boost of attack speed plus the damage that you're bound to have established by then between what I'd assume would be Devo's boots and then Executioner into some form of crit.
So Rom, one of those characters, we were talking about the difference, Aggro and I, between the two different hunters, but Rogue turned around. He didn't realize there's somebody behind him. Stunned out, stunned a second time. Body blocked into oblivion, taunted as well. And the Erlang Shen gets a little bit of help from the Terra. Sprint is good. CAZ Esports hunted down. And one more time, the second kill with the second hammer slam.
Sirduckbot trying to make his way over, look for the punish, able to get into the ultimate, but not able to capitalize off the Geb Cataclysm. Instead, Duckbot's gonna lose his own life as Maloaise turns it around.
Gotta stay patient. We saw Duckbot going for the ultimate was the right play, but he rushed it. There was not enough time available. And now in the mid lane, hell could fall. It's all about the Camazotz. Can he find her? And
the answer is no. The peel from Switch is going to be enough to save the life of X instead. Excuse me. Yeah, I love Elexum.
Yep.
But it still ends up working out just because he had that hell play earlier.
The movement speed brought to him by way of the Inspire. Big deal here for the hell player. Still three. Ooh, that hammer didn't hit. I thought that was going to be number 4.
That was a really curious play by Rogue. I'm not certain if he just didn't hear as he was getting ganked. That's kind of interesting. Typically, you would hear the other player approaching you. Maybe he thought that he could still cancel out that knockup for the style points and get away safely. It just didn't end up working out in his favor at all.
Yeah, unfortunately, that means he's going to wind up only one death here for Mr. Rogue, but the way CAZ Esports and solo lane has looked, certainly feels like more than that. Gold Sharice being started by Atonement and his healer, Elexum. Nobody from Era has any idea. Era are just not home. Era have no clue. Finally, Geb's going to show up. And they're lucky that it's only 6 minutes in, because that was a slow-moving Gold Fury.
That was a free Gold Fury. Had TylrrK not ventured over a little bit closer, might have actually heard that they were on it. And now Atonement's going to have to take a little bit safer pathing if he wants to farm out that duo wave.
That's exactly what he'll do. 9 all here in the duo lane for our hunters. Although Cernunnos has a very slight lead above our Ram.
The difference would just be what they both opted to build into. You can see that Lyzurrr actually went for the boots, prioritizing a little bit of mobility and, I guess, survivability, really, when you think about it. That's kind of why you build boots first on a hunter. Sure, you get a little bit of a damage spike, but it's really just about being able to survive the ganks. And some Wukong could be an incredibly difficult god to get away from. I like that pickup, but because of that, he's not going to have the same kind of stacking as Atonement, and Atonement's going to get a different sort of power spike, a little bit more delayed, but a lot more effective.
See, I like the fact that you brought up the defensive aspect of the boots, because looking sort of on the offensive aspect of the boots, we were talking about how these different hunters sort of hit their stride at different points. Well, Rom's going to take over this game a little bit earlier. Lyzurrr uses Polymorph. Still has to get out of jail. Going to get hit by the hell. Going to get healed up. And still in trouble as Lyzurrr, but he'll walk away. Lyzurrr understands that he's the earlier god of the two. So pick up the boots early, start to swing harder, and maybe he can make an impact and look for an early objective before Ram starts to become a powerful force. Unfortunately for him, doesn't really look like that's going to be the case.
And actually, it was going to be Switch stealing away one of those Gold Fury Oracles. So now, because of that, nobody gets vision.
Nope.
Kind of works out in Kaz's favor.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to work out, making sure that, nobody's going to be able to sneak one on them the way they tried to sneak one on Era.
But of course, still have to keep in mind that Scylla's not really a god you're looking to go all in with early on. They've really got to keep an eye on Sirduckbot. Probably try and keep him pinned down. He's still a little bit ahead of Elexum, but Elexum, you don't typically play the Hell because you want to stand out and shine. You play it because you want to make your team shine.
Yes and no. I think this new Hell does bring you an opportunity to be the guy, be the strong mage. But you're absolutely correct. The healing aspect of Hell is front and foremost for a lot of players, and that's why we see the cooldown boots instead of the penetration boots. The cooldown boots is going to allow Hell to offer more inspires and more cleanses, which are perhaps the bread and butter of her support style play.
And personally, no questions asked, I think that Overpowered just has to prioritize a Brawler's Beat Stick. He cannot afford to try and delay the build of that item, because if he doesn't pick that up second, the heal from Hell, it's not like a Ra or a Chang'e where it takes a little bit of time to add up. It is effective almost immediately. And the fact that he already has those CDR boots on lock just means that he's going to be able to provide a lot of healing whenever he wants.
Trouble again for Rogue. He gets stunned out, and there's the ultimate. So we'll see a little bit of a heal. That will keep CAZ Esports at bay for the moment. And the same could be said about Elexum. He's going to be able to heal himself and walk away. And that'll keep Eternity at bay for the moment.
It would appear as though he's looking to go for the Chronos Pendant. I would just have to assume that that's a Chronos Pendant and not actually going to be a rod. Yeah, the second item rod might be a little bit too much.
But every item you buy after second item rod is better because it gets amplified.
But do you really want to hold that much gold? There's no way he's not building the Chronos Pendant. He's prioritizing the cooldown reduction, and all the power to him. I mean, that's exactly what you would want from a god that's ideally there to spam her cleanse and heals. And speaking about damage, there it is. Elexum just capitalizing and shutting down Sirduckbot, of course with the help of Maloaise.
Yeah, big help from Maloaise. Able to go ahead and find the all-important stun, allowing Elexum to walk up and hit that third ability. Nice bounce coming out from OverPoweredUSB, who jumps and gets the root cleansed out thanks to the Geb. Elexum has to go into the Aegis, but it's before the ultimate.
Oof.
Misses the heal, finds the secondary heal, and is able to cleanse himself away to safety.
That mobility and movement speed off of the Hell's Kid, that's what's absolutely insane to me. Atonement going up into the air, not trying to let Overpowered survive, but the Geb shield might buy him enough time. And it won't. The snipes are clutch from Atonement as he locks him down. Elexum actually dying.
Tyler, turn around! Tyler, turn around!
He just soloed. He just soloed Elexum as a Geb.
Sure.
We're not going to count the tower being a factor.
The Geb gets the... Okay.
He was taunting, and I mean, he rightfully so. That was a pretty big play for him to make.
All I saw was homie taunt and then get killed from behind. He's sitting there. And it's funny, CAZ Esports were like, you killed Elexum. Good for you, man. Hi. And they just sort of wave as they see the rest of the team wrap around.
He's dead there regardless. He might as well establish his dominance.
He doesn't know that he's dead, and that's bad.
I think he knew he was dead.
He didn't know he was getting wrapped around.
No, because the two members from CAZ were definitely still looking, because they were hugging that tower line so heavily. I can't see them not diving the Geb, knowing his shield is on cooldown.
I don't know. Watching somebody die without any vision of that who kills him while taunting, not a good look.
I think that it's just all in fun. That's just him having a little bit of fun with things. But granted, that's a kill that you don't want to see happening a little bit later on. But trading out your support life for a mid laner.
Oh yeah.
I think he'll take that trade.
Especially to get on the board. It was 6-0.
From Overpowered though, looking at that Camazotz choice, he has to find that kill.
Yeah.
Onto Elexum. He can't afford to drop that any longer. And already, just this damage is absolutely insane. The Chronos Pendant is online now for Elexum, and he is just dropping bombs on these guys.
You know, it's interesting. When we look at a lot of mages, Taco, cooldown reduction to the point of 40% is almost superfluous. Because if you're able to, even with cooldown reduction, if you're able to cycle your abilities, you're probably taking too long in the team fight to be successful anyway. But on a character like Hell, you're really looking to play in the backline and try to find the damage when it comes, but more importantly, heal your teammates and get them out of jail by way of cleanse. So the CDR, very different on this character than other mages.
Rogue able to secure his own blue buff, thankfully. Overpowered, trying to help turn things around onto Mr. Turtle, who's actually in danger. Bludgeon is going to be taunted out by the Erlang ultimate, but now it's TylrrK trying to help the rest of his team survive in the backline. Sirduckbot cannot get out.
And Elexum's in trouble, has the Aegis, but he's tanking the tower. Tyler gets credit again for the kill onto the mid lane hell. One more time, trying to get the kill, is going to be overpowered, can't find it, just barely. One shot, one kill. Lyzurrr takes down Malo.
Huge rotation from the Cernunnos. And Atonement, since he didn't choose to rotate, recognizes that his opposition is across the map. It's going to push that T1 tower. I don't think he's going to have enough time, though, to take that.
The steal! Oh, look at that. Era Eternity going to go ahead and open up the portal. And that'll snatch the opportunity away from CAZ as they try to get themselves known. Knock up on the switch, and the mill going to be met with the root from Rogue. And Switch, still in trouble. No way over the wall. Damage out of the brambles is good. The basic attacks are strong as well. That's going to keep him alive just for the moment, that being the shell. One more shot will do it. Zig, zag, zig, zag. Can't zigzag that one. Rogue gets credit.
For a moment, I thought that was going to be stolen by Switch.
What a play.
So unfortunate. Really well played there by Lyzurrr, making sure that he gets the root down to ensure that he stays alive. And Sirduckbot again, 1 HP. Sirduckbot, what are you doing?
He's sitting
Atonement!
there.
Missed 2 autos on a standing still target, and they are Astrals. Oh, that's a feels bad, man. That's one of those kills where, like, you knock yourself for it.
That's rough. Here we have Mr. Turtle walking into the damage as well. OverPoweredUSB gets credit for that one, 5 to 8. Era Eternity with the 5, and looking to steal away the Gold Fury. Could be our GOAT man. Gold Fury 15% or lower. There's the 2. CAZ able to take it. Era Eternity, just watch.
Valiant attempt, though, by Lyzurrr, knowing that he was in a 1v2 scenario, kept his spacing. That's the important part, was that he positioned himself to where he wasn't going to die contesting that objective.
Yeah, just sort of going for it, tossing it out. No harm, no foul. 16 minutes in, 5 to 8. CAZ with 8. Also leading this one by about 4,000 gold, give or take. 3,500 perhaps more precise. But either way, CAZ in the driver's seat.
And CAZ got to be feeling good after locking that one down. Era Eternity didn't let it go without punishment, though. They were able to invade CAZ's buffs, so at least they've got that to their advantage. Maloaise already up in the clouds, though. Looking to potentially go in here onto Overpowered.
And there's a Terra ultimate. Everybody going fast. The shell. There's the ultimate. Just barely, not enough to kill. So Duckbot won't get the refresh, but Rogue finishes off the kill after a huge amount of damage coming out from the Scylla.
The shell bought him just enough time, but it wasn't quite enough. Atonement tried to find the snipes onto Sirduckbot. Level 17 Braum actually packing a punch on that ultimate, just unable to find the last shot to lock it down. And now it's actually Era Eternity. Even though they're trailing behind in gold, they're still trying to fight back. Overpowered, just taking a beating.
Barely getting out of there. And he will survive. Nobody's showing up around him. Here comes Tyler. Looking to solo one more time, but I don't think that's going to be the case here, Taco. Big Cataclysm and the shield is good. But the entirety of CAZ Esports are surrounding him. Good stun, couple of basics. And down he will go with the Hammer Slam. Mr. Turtle with number 9 for CAZ Esports.
A lot was just expended right there to shut down the Geb and ensure that he died. And I'm a little bit surprised at Era choosing to play it as passive as they have. CAZ not looking to slow down. I mean, they don't really have to. They've got the hell on their side. Atonement taking up a couple of these tower shots, but they've got a wave available. This T2 is taking a ton of poke.
The flank from Era might be good, but CAZ certainly look a little bit stronger in this team fight. Great damage coming out from Duckbot. Rooting 2 and dealing damage to more. Trouble for Elexum as he's low on the backline, and the shots from the Hunter. 2 are good, and get the kill. OverPoweredUSB falls down. Atonement doing work for CAZ Esports.
And it's going to be Elexum silently healing everybody in the back line. Atonement, no fear whatsoever. He knows that he's got Maloaise to tank up that tower. So Wukong decoys
aggro
back onto the T2, but it's Maloaise by himself. Zoning 3. Sure, his team gets the T2 at the cost of his life.
That's what it's all about. Again, going back to one of my favorite commentators' favorite phrase, Ryan Aggro Bailey, dab, dive all backlines. That's what it's all about, folks. The Sun Wukong making it happen. Atonement with the double kill. 2 towers go down. All because of the work of the solo lane.
You have to appreciate CAZ's
Or
potential.
the jungler. It's a jungle Sun Wukong.
Yes. They had no issues whatsoever, no hesitation. That's what I absolutely love about CAZ and what we've seen from their gameplay is that whenever they commit to a decision, they are 100 to zeroing it. Like there is no room for pausing. Every single member of this team just looks to back each other up.
I mean, we saw that earlier in the day with Null and Void. You know, it gets kind of rough. You can't have it stay. The second you sit around and waffle, you get pancaked.
That's really... Yeah, no, I got you. I just had breakfast too not too long ago, but I actually did have a pancake as well.
And then you got Eggs Benedict.
I did get an Eggs Benedict, but a pancake too.
Right now, overpowered USB. Going to be poached and served. Right there, too much sauce. Nice ultimate. Getting out of jail. Portal Demon goes to CAZ Esports, however, over the top. I thought it got stolen.
Not stolen away quite yet. Overpowered, trying to hang around, just slurping up the blood of his enemies.
Trouble for Rogue here. Going to get hit by damage over the top of the wall. Malo still trying to lead the charge. The ultimate out of Sirduckbot. Just barely not enough to find the kill as Overpowered cleans it up. Now Rogue going to get in trouble as everybody else from CAZ walking through the portal. Roma Invicta misses. Atonement, who's the target, takes to the sky. Look how much damage this Hunter is doing. And Elexum says we good. Atonement still finds the death on the bottom.
TylrrK mistimed his Cataclysm, though, on the gap, so he won't have that ultimate to try and get his team away. Elexum, though, with the massive root from Sirduckbot, setting up Lyzurrr to find the follow-up kill. And now TylrrK, he's ready to go in.
Sirduckbot on this Scylla. Love it.
He has not had a whole lot of room to actually do his own thing. But the few times where Sirduckbot's actually gotten an opportunity to not be swarmed by double warriors, he has done a phenomenal job at landing his abilities.
He's really been powerful on the Scylla. Gold Fury looks like it's the hands of Era Eternity. Here comes CAZ looking for the steal. Bellona could take this away with the hammer. Slams down. Era says no, it's still ours. And meanwhile, Lyzurrr taking down Switch. Terra goes to the home.
Same story might be said here for Mr. Turtle, already using the Roma Invicta to try and get away, and it is going to work out for now, but Maloaise also had to use his ultimate to escape so much damage.
Era Eternity on the swing back here. CAZ looked like they almost had this one in the bank. Era Eternity able to bark down a couple of towers in the mid lane, looking for the tier 1 on the left as well. That's 1,000 gold in total. And now Era only trail by about 3K.
Just when you think it's basically all in CAZ's favor, Era Eternity just come up clutch. Sirduckbot with that 3-man route around the entryway to those right mid harpies. That really just turned everything around for Era Eternity. Off of that one play and Lyzurrr securing the kill, they're able to find the Gold Fury, find the T1 towers. But now they've got to be careful and make sure they're finding Atonement on this Fire Giant.
He's already brought it down to about half HP here at Taco. Atonement now looking at Tyler, and pretty much just Tyler. Here comes Elexum. Oh, but the shove of Rogue will change things. Fire Giant being sort of leashed. No, it's not. Atonement sticking to it. Now leashes it. Looking towards the Warrior. Terra Ultimate looking to help out the guys on CAZ. Jumping forward is going to be Bellona. And there's a great Cataclysm.
And catches everybody, but the Wild Hunt only hits one, and it's Maloaise. He's going to be able to live for the moment, but Overpowered, making sure to lock him down. Falling victim, 4v5 already. This is in favor for Era Eternity.
With the dead Sun Wukong, CAZ really can't play the same game they've been playing all night, so they're going to have to stumble for the moment. 21,000 healing coming out from Elexum. He's been doing so much work here. He's on the bottom side of the player damage, but he's absolutely providing the healing when necessary.
And it might have been a 4v5, but just the hell alone, I think, is enough to deter Era Eternity from wanting to follow up in that fight. It's not really a 4v5, considering the fact that CAZ is the double sustain.
Yeah. So it winds up being, I don't know. In that scenario, Elexum just winds up, oh man, he's such a powerful force for CAZ, despite them only being up about 2,000. Era doing such a great job at staying in this one.
It's just so difficult to get to Elexum in that back line. That's kind of just the Camazotz's job here. But Overpowered hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities to really get in there and lock Elexum out of the fights. He just needs to poke him out, if anything, and keep him separated from his team. But having a Wukong, having the Bellona and the Terra, there's just so much movement speed on top of just the initial front line. It just becomes incredibly difficult to work your way around. And take a look at Mr. Turtle's build for a second there. That is the anti-physical build. And
then, of course, I mean, you're just able to find yourselves past the... CAZ is able to sort of run away from whoever, but also bring the damage and the pain to Eternity. I mean, this whole unit is drafted around the ability to you know, as Ryan was aggro would say, dab on them. Just get to the back, and that's what are suffering for.
Only level 20s in the game so far are the Hunters, both of their respective crit builds. It's going to be the engagement coming out from Era Eternity. They're ready to lock switch down.
He's dashing away. Trouble here as OverPoweredUSB takes to the sky. There's a shell, there's a heal, there's some speed, and it's enough to get Switch out of jail. Now CAZ trying to respond. Jumping forward is the Bellona looking for the stun, and gets one. No kills just yet. Damage coming out from the hell. I'm a monster. Not good enough. You're in the ground. Mr. Turtle takes down Sirduckbot. Still trouble for Maloaise as he goes into the ultimate himself. Everybody looking at Lyzurrr, and Mr. Turtle gets the double kill for putting down the Goat Man.
Era Eternity put too much into that attempt without finding anything in return, and because of that, CAZ had enough time to respond. Now it's going to be Rogue getting run down by Maloaise, able to just escape that Tiger stun.
Damage onto Overpowered as he'll have to walk away. CAZ Esports also slinking back into the jungle, but just long enough to help out Atonement, who's already brought the Fire Giant down to about half HP. Mr. Turtle shows up and he'll assist. Nobody from Era anywhere near this one, Taco. That's a free Fire Giant for CAZ Esports.
Nobody really able to contest either way. Rogue kind of just poking some fun. That's about all he can do. He knew he was going to be there in time. I mean, you kind of just make your way over to the FG pit just because you're a warrior. You know you're probably not going to die. And yeah, you never know. There's that 0.0001% chance you actually get away with stealing that. Unfortunately for Era Eternity, CAZ just had way too much burst damage with the Ram. And that's kind of the appreciation back there. But it's going to be TylrrK looking for the initiation. Atonement already brought down under half HP.
You got to roll back out there, and the taunt is not going to be in range. Now the heal's coming out from Elexum onto Atonement. You're going to keep the Hunter up for the moment. Look at the damage he's able to deal to Rogue from a distance, just chunking him. Slowed down by Mallow. There's going to be damage as well. To the sky, one shot, two shots, sends everybody into different directions, but one still gets stunned, forcing the beads out from the Goat Man. Trouble on the backside as the ultimate from Lyzurrr used defensively. Not going to find a target, but look at all of the damage into the Geb. Atonement takes down TylrrK, and it could be two for him. It will. Rogue T. The T stands for two. USB ain't got a funny name, but it's triple for the Hunter.
Oh, and he's not able to find the Quadra in time. Atonement still looking for it onto Lyzurrr, able to get away, and because of that, Sirduckbot actually cleaned up one member from CAZ. He only was able to find Maloaise. That's someone calling decoy, kind of getting in the way, but either way, very, very strong team fight from CAZ, and this is not looking good for Era Eternity.
Not quite. This mid lane Phoenix likely to fall here. Lyzurrr chased down as everybody's going to chase Lyzurrr down. He'll go to the hand of Elexum. 20 kills on the scoreboard for CAZ Esports. With the Camazotz rezzing in 5 seconds and Rogue T rezzing in 7, I don't think we're going to see the Titan just yet, but 2 Phoenixes will definitely fall.
And that's not in case TylrrK has something to say about it. He's not really looking to let this one go. He might not have a choice, though. These in-hands from Atonement are just chunking away at him. Even Rogue T. Oh my god, Overpowered has no chance to survive.
Almost full build. Almost full build for the Hunter, but it doesn't even seem like he needs it. Atonement's been crushing it. 400 damage short of the Scylla, who's landed multiple ultimates. He's out of control right now, and a lot of it has had to do with his accuracy on those snipes coming out from the ultimate, and really just the basic attacks.
Late game Ram is absolutely filthy. especially with the triple crit build like he's been going. And Rogue T might not be able to get out this time. They're looking for him. Elexum is able to find him. Atonement
one shot.
Doesn't have a home for the snipes, but that doesn't matter because his team is finding the kills that they need to.
There's the Phoenix on the left side going just there. It is down for the count. CAZ Esports now pushing forward. Mr. Turtle dealing with Tyler. While on the left side, Atonement deals with the bat. Now looking towards the Titan. CAZ Esports slowly filtering in here. This is for the seeding, folks. Both of these teams will be in the SCL. But how do they get there? Looks like CAZ Esports going to be number 1.
And CAZ, wow, what a really dominant performance from these guys. I mean, they've been running it all day today, but this really just goes to show the amount of improvement that this team has, like, pretty much developed over time.
I mean, we watched them, and they wound up in relegation, obviously, but 30 minutes in, not even, 21 kills belong to CAZ, and only 13 to Terra. A whole 10,000 gold up is the red team. And CAZ Esports certainly look like they've improved from last year's SCL.
And now with the Deathbringer online, Atonement, he was already a problem for Era Eternity. Triple crit being established and fully online. That is just not what you want to be looking for.
He'll take this fight.
Oh, he'll take that fight all day long, and he'll probably win it too.
I believe that he would.
No Nemean from Rogue. So that would 100% be in Atonement's favor. But Rogue, he knows better. He's not really looking to overstep his boundaries here. Maybe just get a little bit of poke out onto Elexum, but not like it matters. It's a hell. You've got to do a lot more than just 10%.
Lined up, Atonement, ready to pull the Portal Demon, and he will. And as soon as I say that, he'll take it down as well. 100 gold in the pocket.
This is looking like the final push here. Rogue already forced to expend his ultimate just to get away from Area Eternity. I mean, from CAZ, excuse me, but no one even wanting to go near Atonement, just all the time in the world to secure this Fire Giant. Yeah,
this one's going to be nice and clean as Area Eternity have to do their homework, cleaning up the lanes. Fire Giant goes down. CAZ Esports looking for their final push. 5 players, excuse me, grouped up on the right-hand side. That Phoenix has been there, and they will look to take it down.
I like what Area Eternity opted to do, forfeiting the Fire Giant to push out the mid and left-hand waves to ensure that they won't have to worry about those fire creeps temporarily while this fight is breaking out underneath the Phoenix. Atonement's already up in the air, though, forcing out 1 shell from Area Eternity. TylrrK ready to go in. Cataclysm, though, not really going to make an impact.
And Tyler already half HP, stunned out, and the damage is real. Atonement turns around and takes down the Warrior. Not done yet. Jumps forward is going to be Malo. Lyzurrr in trouble. And Tyler as well. Malo gets one, Mr. Turtle gets the other, and the Phoenix is going to fall down to the hand of the Sun Wukong, while everybody else takes a look at the Titan itself. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to your 2 SCL representatives, Area Eternity and CAZ Esports. And at the conclusion of this fight, we'll take a look at these two. Switch stays alive. Will the same be said for Mr. Turtle? The answer is yes. And the attention
Oh, they want him.
They're not going to get...
I think they got him. I think they got him. They found him. Hell's fun.
CAZ Esports, your number 1 seed out of relegation. Fantastic play by everybody in that last game. I really didn't think they were going to get Duckbot.
I did. I 100% thought that Duckbot was dead. I mean, even if the hell doesn't find him in that circumstance, the crits, it's too high of crit damage for him to sustain through it, even in the fountain.
A lot of fun stuff happened throughout that last one. As we said, number 1 will be CAZ Esports coming out of relegation, and number 2 will be their opposition, Area Eternity. Both teams representing Europe in the Smite Console League. So a lot of fun stuff. If you had to pick a character out of that one, who'd you go with?
Probably Atonement. I think that Atonement was just doing such an excellent job all around, really just showing off.
Yeah, I mean, Atonement just getting the multi-kills all throughout the day, looking very strong here. And even whether he's the aggressor or getting aggressed on, right here is with the ladder, he's able to go ahead and take to the sky. And look at the splash damage he's doing.
It's just, he was really on point with these ROM snipes, and I like that he didn't hold that ultimate for the secure onto kills. He was using that as his engagement because it's such safe engage when you have a Camazotz trying to run around and lock you down in that back line. It just left Overpowered being forced into trying to attack Elexum, but it's a hell, and a late game hell at that. You're not going to have very many opportunities to really try and kill one.
4 teams came in today. Only 2 will leave, and that was the result of a bunch of games that we saw today. CAZ Esports winds up with 3 games in as many matches, and Eternity goes 2-1. Chan does wind up with a victory off screen, but they still wind up 2. And then, of course, 3 losses for the remainder. So fun stuff as we watch everybody take their team to the fences here at our relegation matches. And, of course, these are just to make it to fall split. What's after fall split?
Worlds.
Exactly. For these teams, they had to compete to get there, but you just have to buy a ticket. And if you buy a ticket nice and early, you'll save yourself about a quarter. 25% off. hi-rezexpo.com. Early bird discount for a limited time, so you absolutely want to get the move on now.
And, I mean, everybody loves SWC. I always have a great time from the 2 times that I've been.
I mean, it's nuts. I've gone to, like, all the Smite lands. They're just a lot of fun. Everybody's just kind of hanging out. The games are always fun, but then after the games, they're also a lot of fun. Hang out, eat some food, and everybody just has a good time. So certainly a place that you want to be at, as well as you want to be here tomorrow for our North American console relegation, as well. We'll start one more time at 1 p.m. But for now, that's all we've got. So we'll catch you tomorrow at 1. See ya. We love you.